So let's take a look at the very intro of the song. One of the first things that you hear is ARP 2600 Wind. It's a noise generator producing white noise going into a filter. I add a little bit of resonance, and I'll let you hear what it sounds like. And I just shape this low-pass filter. And it's just sort of a feel thing, and I just kind of go with the track, and the high point of the wind is just before the big chorus, the instrumental chorus that goes da-da, da-da-da. So that's the high point of the wind. You know, you want to build drama, so it starts a little bit lower, and it goes up a little, and then down a little, and then up a little, and down a little higher up, and then when we get to that, just before that instrumental chorus, it gets the brightest, and then it comes down a little, and then through the verse, it kind of has a few little moments, and sort of just dissipates away. And so that's sort of the atmosphere that sets the tone, which was pretty cool for a pop song to, create sort of this little ambience in front and flow into the song. So.
All right, you guys, that was Anthony Marinelli, who actually worked on the song Thriller, showing us how he put the wind sounds in. And today is Halloween. And because Thriller was such an iconic video, every Halloween all over the world, people are doing the Thriller dance. Now, this is a photo of Miss Ola Ray, the original Thriller girl, and myself. This was in 2018, because, honey, I was much smaller back then, at the Dark Horror Festival in Champaign, Illinois. This was the first time we met. And it was the 35th anniversary of Thriller, and we stayed in contact. We're talking about doing some wonderful things together, such as the Michael Jackson Thriller Symposium, which we are actually planning for next year. So Miss Ola is on the line, and I wanted to reach out to her to talk about this iconic video for a few minutes, and also talk about some projects that she worked on prior to Thriller. Miss Ola Ray, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy Halloween day to talk to Mother Diva. So, hey, I'm excited.
How are you doing? It's so good to talk to you. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I know I don't want to keep you long on the line, but if you could just go back and remember, like, the first time you worked on this video from the beginning, because there's a little history with how you guys ended up working together. And it started with John Landis reading an article about you in your Playboy days. So kind of briefly give us the beginnings of the Thriller video.
Okay, so basically my agent had sent me out on an interview to meet with John Landis, and I had no idea what it was for. So as he was talking me through it, telling me what he needed, a girl to play two parts, and both girls would have the same boyfriend, and we would see each other off screen at a movie theater. Then he turned around and he started playing a Thriller song. And I looked at him and I said, oh my God. I said, are you serious? I said, you got to give it to me. So I just kept, kind of convincing him that I'm the perfect girl to play the part. And then I said to him, I said, but, I don't know how Michael would feel about the fact that I did Playboy. And he said, oh, don't worry, let me handle that. So I'm assuming that John seen it, and I know for sure that he probably showed it to Michael.
Well, from what I researched, Michael actually told you that you were chosen from the Playboy days, from the Playboy spread.
Yeah, I'm sure John showed it to him.
Girl, we all saw it. And that's so, what's so interesting, because we've been taught in the entertainment industry that if you do more adult entertainment orientated content, that it will ruin your career and all this. But you actually got projects after that. So it had a great effect on your career moving forward.
Yeah, well, I started my career in Japan at the age of 15. So I was doing a lot of high fashion modeling over there. So some of it may have included, showing a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And I've never looked at Playboy
Okay, now
that,
I want to be clear. You weren't nude at 15, correct?
no, of course not. I
Okay,
wasn't new,
no,
but
we,
it was high fashion, and in high fashion,
okay.
sometimes you tend to show a
Yeah,
little
I had to clear that up because some people will say, oh my,
No,
so
yeah, you're
yeah.
right. You're right. Yeah, let's clear that up. No, I didn't do any nudity. But so anyway, I never really looked at Playboy as anything bad. I looked at it as a work of art. And as a
Okay.
matter of fact, my agent from Japan told me, he said, well, when you get back to the United States, you're going to have a problem modeling because you're not tall enough. I'm only 5'4", and I was doing high fashion in Japan. So he said, well, why don't you just go and do Playboy, use them as a stepping stone? And so I, when I first got back from the United States, I went to college, and then after about a year or so, I did go up to Playboy, and they called me like about 2 weeks later, and they sent me to Chicago to shoot.
Now that's very interesting that you ended up in Chicago because you also was in the Classy Curl commercial, which aired on Soul Train, which was started in Chicago. Now we're gonna come right back with Miss Ola to talk about that because I want to pull the commercial up. So we'll be right back with the commercial.
You get twirl, swirl, curly your curls with Classy Curl.
It's in a class by itself.
Long-lasting, stronger curls with Classy Curl.
It's in a class by itself.
Classy Curl. Do it at home. Classy Curl. The professional way. Classy Curl gives you better curls. Swirlier, swirlier, curlier curls. Classy Curl, curly perm.
It's in a class by itself.
From the Johnson Products Research Center.
So we just saw the Classy Curl commercial, which was so amazing that when Ola came to Chicago, which Playboy is in Chicago, Soul Train is in Chicago, and she was in a commercial, a Classy Curl commercial that aired on Soul Train. So kind of give us a background on how Johnson & Johnson reached out to you about doing the Classy Curl commercial, and it airs on Soul Train.
Yeah, I remember it was like sometime after I had shot my centerfold. I believe Johnson & Johnson called Playboy and asked me to come in for an interview. So I went on the interview, and everything went great. They said that they wanted me to be the Classy Curl girl. I mean, this was like the first time that they ever created a hair care product that was geared towards Black people's hair to make their hair curly. So for me, it was such an honor. I mean, they had me touring all over the United States. They put me on the box. We did so many ads, like you showed. We did the commercial, and they also had a win a date with Ola Ray at one point. And so that was so funny. And I wanted to tell a story about that because I know a lot of the fans out there are always leaving messages and talking about my skin color. Mm-hmm. So I want to address that right now, if you don't mind.
Of course.
Mother Diva.
Of course.
Okay. So I was, after I went on that trip to Jamaica, I mean, every year after that, I asked the Johnson & Johnson people, I said, please, can I go back, to the house? So they said, yeah, sure, Ola. So I would go back to Jamaica almost every year after that. And that's how come my skin color was so dark back in the day. And also when I was here in LA, I was always skating at Venice Beach or either out in Santa Monica. But that's why my skin was darker at the time. And right now, I just don't choose to be out in the sun all the time. And if I am out, I'll have my hat or my long sleeve shirt on. So anyway, I just want to let you guys know I did not do anything to my skin color. That's my original skin color.
Wow, that is very great information. I'm glad you wanted to clear that up. And it was very important for you to clear that up because you kind of went through something similar. It's amazing to me how you and Michael Jackson's life kind of parallel because, he was accused of doing things to his skin and we find out that he had vitiligo. So, right. Yeah, it's very important to clear those matters up. Now, going back to talk about the Thriller video, in 2023, it commemorated the 40th anniversary of Thriller, and we got together and did a little reenactment, and you did a little walk, and it was so cute.
Yeah,
And we had
that was
people
so
out
much
there trying to
fun.
do the Thriller dance, and they
What
couldn't do
time?
it.
What time of it? What time of
It was
the
at midnight when we did it. It was so funny.
I had to do an event that day, and I think I went and did that. And you
Yes.
like stay with
And I
me.
got you another Thriller cake and all that. And so I'm going to put the
Yeah.
link in so people can see it. But what was so interesting is when I did the research and went back and looked at the making of Thriller, actually John Landis was telling you that you were walking too fast. And 40 years later, you did the same thing. You walked too fast, and it was so funny.
I remember that. Yeah, that actually, that was the day I went to rehearsal. It's the second day I went and saw Michael, and John was telling me I was walking too fast. That's because the beat I'm hearing in my head was going a little faster, and then John was like, "No, Ola, we need you to slow it down a little bit, for Michael." And so that's where I got that little swag of a walk.
So tell us about the book, The Thrill of It All, which is your new book. And it's gotten some rave reviews in the Michael Jackson community. So what prompted you to write the book?
Okay, well, it's like I needed to take a step back out the entertainment industry because I had gone through a lot after Thriller, and so I needed to just write down everything that has happened to me in my life, starting from the beginning when I was basically 4 years old. My dad would take me to the tavern, and they would throw money on the floor for me dancing. So my dad inspired me to become who I am today. And then then going from there, to Japan and starting my career at 15 through 17, singing and dancing in Japan. And then coming back and doing the Playboy, and then and then having the opportunity to work with Michael Jackson. I had listed Michael in the Playboy magazine as my favorite entertainer of all time. So
Yes.
I wanted to write a book about how happy I was with my career and how I felt about it. But then after Thriller came so many dark areas.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like the groupies came over, and of course they're bringing the party favors, and that kind of situation kind of unfolded, and it went from there to me being with the Me Too, having to deal with the Me Too with the producers and directors telling me now that I've done Thriller that I cannot work unless I give them favors.
Right,
So,
yeah, the casting couch.
Right. I got so down and depressed, I decided to try to take my life. So it's a lot of things that I had to go through. I went through a domestic violence, being beaten and held captive in a basement I was kidnapped for a while.
Oh,
I had a car bombing.
What?
In one of my cars, you don't even understand. And so all of these things that were happening to me were happening back to back to back to back. And so, and then also with the financial loss,
Wait a minute. Is all of this in the book? Because I did read some of it. I'm going to go back and read all of it now. Let me tell you something, guys. I read like the beginning of it when it starts in, St. Louis, because Ola's from St. Louis. But I wanted to get to the part where, Michael Jackson was interested in rocking her into the sunlight. So I kind of fast forward it because I wanted to hear how, Michael was really kind of feeling you.
Yeah, so there is a part in the book that I talk about when I had my intimate moment with Michael. So yes, there was something there. So I do talk about that as well in the book. But basically, I wrote the book because God brought me back to me. You know what I'm saying? And
that's beautiful.
And it's like it. Yeah, because it's like if I can go through all the things that I went through, and just by having my trust and belief and faith in God that He was going to bring me through everything, then anybody out there that might be going through anything like this can get through it as well. Because trust me, I had to pray myself out of every situation I was in. And so I think that I had, I'm an overcomer.
You are an overcomer, and that is amazing. Now we can get your book where books are sold: Amazon, Barnes and Noble. So you guys make sure you check that out. Give us your website information too, Miss Ola.
You can get to it by olaray.com. There's also pictures on there if you guys want me to send you a picture and autograph.
Yes.
Yeah, pick up the book from Barnes and Noble, and if you want me to autograph it, you can go on to the website and leave a message, and it'll get to me, and we'll figure it out from there.
Okay, well, thank you so much for coming on, you guys. Check her out on social media. It's Ola Ray on Facebook, Ola Ray on Instagram. Make sure you guys get the book, The Thrill of It All. It is a triumphant story of overcoming, and she has so much more that she's going to be doing. She's also available for appearances if you all are interested in booking her for seminars, panel discussions. She travels all over the world. She's an amazing lady. Thank you so much. And you guys stay tuned to Thriller Dance 2300 and Mother Diva's house.